Thank you. Guys, good afternoon. My name is Eric and I am an alcoholic.
Hi, Eric.
You know, I was thinking, my way here, and I was thinking, I was given a lot of thought that I don't know if my sponsor like me or not, because this is the second time that actually he put me in a bad situation. And it's a bad situation, it's just that, man, I do have a passion, but sometimes I'm very nervous. I get nervous still, especially with podiums. In my group, we don't have podiums and stuff like that. I remember when I tell you the first time that he made me nervous was when back in 2015 when I first get into this room, the open breakfast site meeting. That was one of my first meetings back in the days when I started recovery. And the only thing that I went there was to get my when my course slip signed. And God, I remember being in the back that day. He was a chairperson, and I was sitting back, looking at the ceiling, waiting for the meeting to be over so I can go home and be miserable. Because actually, I didn't know that actually being in a room of Alcoholics Anonymous is a pure oxygen. You know, it's a shot of life. You know, and I remember that day I was behind him, and he turned around and said, "Hey, would you like to share?" And I say, "Oh my God, man!" And I was very nervous that day. I was very nervous because I didn't know what to say. That was probably my second month or so. So here I am. I got to start with my sobriety day is August 15, 2015. Since then, I haven't touched a shot of alcohol, of tequila, or I haven't put nothing, any substance through my mouth or through my nose, because I was very addicted to cocaine as well. Uh, I was born, guys, I want to introduce myself. My name is Eric, and I'm an alcoholic. I was born in a small city in Mexico called Tulancingo Hidalgo. It's a small city close to Mexico City. I remember by the age of 6 years old, when I started like realizing things, and watching people, I remember that my family, for my mom's part, everybody drink, all of them, all of them, especially in the weekends, And at the moment, the probably that was normal for everybody, But as the years passed by, I wasn't really a early drinker. I started drinking when I was 70 years old. But through the years, I realized the alcohol can either make you happy or make you miserable. I remember this uncle that I have. His name was Gavino. He was the crankiest person in life, man. A cranky guy, man. If I say good morning to him, he will never reply, ever, ever, But as soon as he touch a beer, or as soon as he actually start drinking pulque, which is a drink that came out of a maguey. The Mexicans, they make alcohol out of everything. So he was the happiest person, He used to make jokes every Saturday and Sunday. And man, I love seeing my uncle happy because he made me laugh. And the other part, my father, he was an alcoholic, but he was the other side of the coin. He was very violent. He was very violent. Actually, I never realized that when I was little, I used to say, when I get married and I grow up, probably I am gonna drink because that's normal, but I never gonna touch my wife. I will never hit my wife because I remember those days. That was bad. They were bad. And I let it be like that. I never actually attack the problem from the roots. I didn't know nothing about alcoholism. Like I say, I thought it was normal. I started drinking when I was 17 years old. I remember when I started drinking. I remember the first time that I actually got drunk. Actually, I blacked out. I didn't remember what happened to me. I just remember drinking with my grandpa. Uh, this called which is this drink is called aguardiente. With a squirt. He used to mix it up. Very, very good. Yeah, I remember. And I don't remember what happened. I just remember waking up the next day with my grandma telling me, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." So what happened? She told me nothing, mijo. You just got drunk, and actually you passed out. You passed out in the bathroom. I was puking. You know. So I think for a normal person should be scared of that thing, because don't knowing what happened the day before. It's a scary thing. Right now, I think it's a scary thing if that happens to me again. But I didn't. I like the effects of alcohol. Damn, I like them. Because as my alcoholism progressed, I was able to talk with the ladies. I was that shyness that I have in me. Went away all the time when I drink alcohol. It makes me a good dancer. I mean, I used to think that it was easy to talk to the girls. And for some reason, when I was drunk, I became popular because actually I invite the shots. And I call the shots. But to do that, actually, I was doing bad things, like stealing money to the place that I was working, and everything just to be surrounded by people. They adore me, and I did a lot of bad stuff back then, a lot of bad stuff. So I remember before I came here, I may migrate to this country, I was I was in a lot of trouble mentally, because I have a lot of resentment towards myself because, like I say, I did a lot of bad stuff. Probably you guys can relate to some of that stuff that I don't have the time to talk about it, but you guys probably can imagine. So I remember when I told my boss, "Hey, you know what? I am gonna go to United States." Say, what are you gonna do there? Where are you going? So, do you need money? Say, no, no. I just wanna, I just wanna, I just wanna go. I just wanna go away. I was just running away for a lot of problems, and the things that I did that was the reason. But I thought that I was like going to somewhere that nobody knows me, so I can start a new life that will be beneficial for me. And actually, it wasn't, because I was running from my problems. I never had the courage to actually confront the things, because I was very cowardly. I gotta say that, even though I used to like to play the tough guy, that was in the gangs and was in a lot of fights, I was very scared, dude. I was very scared individual. No, until now, actually, I realized that. So when I came here back in 2000, I migrated to this country in 2000. I remember that before I came here, I make a, a play, I swore to the Virgin that I wasn't going to drink in 2 years, and I did that. I did all that because my mother was dying in my arms, I remember that night, my mother, actually, she never touched alcohol. And that night she drank something and she passed out. She got bad. So she was actually saying bye to me. She was actually telling me, hey, please take care of her, your sister. I said, no, hold on a minute. I'm freaking like 20 years old, 19 years old. I cannot take care of my sisters, So I swear to the Virgin that if she saves my mama, I will swear something, and I swear not to drink in 2 years. And I did that. I accomplished that, no problem, because actually, where I come from, they said if you actually broke that plea, something bad is gonna happen to you. They inject this afraid of fear on me. So I actually make my 2 years. So, but man, when I accomplished those 2 years, I remember, and I was waiting, and I went to a club, and I said, at midnight, this thing is over. Dang, man. I spent like fucking $300 on a lot of dues, man. The first day, and my thing was over. And I blacked out again, you know. I don't even know how I got home, you know. And like this illness says, this sickness it progresses. So I started using cocaine with the time, And then when cocaine didn't do nothing to me, I started using crystal meth. That was the last thing that I did. Uh, from 2013 and 2015, I was on crystal meth every single day in my life. I remember going to work. Uh, the first thing that I used to do when I wake up, if I was able to sleep a little, was looking for my pipe, my oil burner, and smoke. Seattle is a rainy city, and the light stops. Nobody can see me, smoking there. And my job, man. I remember I used to work as a sous chef in this corporation of electrical engineers, they have a shower. There's a very rich corporation. I used to remember going very early, so I can take a shower there. But actually, I wasn't taking a shower. Actually, I was smoking. I was smoking recently because I wasn't functioning. I didn't feel like I wasn't functioning if I wasn't on crystal meth. And the same thing I was doing on a daily basis, in the freezer. That thing was bad. But and then you know what? I remember having a first attempt to go into AA in 2013. Because one of my girlfriends, she left me. And I say, well, I'm gonna try Alcoholics Anonymous and try to stop this thing. She actually left me in November, but I didn't want to go right away. I said, I'm gonna wait for Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve and New Year so I can drink. So I'm gonna go in January. So actually, I did that in January. So I remember the day the guys they were there. That was a group in Bellevue, and they at the end of the meeting, this guy told me, "Hey, I'm gonna help you, Rick, but you need to do these three things: come to meetings, don't drink in between, and the third thing that he told me was don't get involved in any relationship for a year. You know, I say no, heck no, I can't do that. I'm very young. And I like to party. So I went back. I don't know if that is a relapse because I was to a meeting in 2013, but I never came back because actually the guy the suggestions that they did, I didn't like them. So and I got two DUIs in those 2 years between 2013 and 2015, and the police actually they got me with narcotics, you know, which they forced me to go to alcohol treatment, and alcohol treatment forced me to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, and but I didn't obey. I forgot the recommendations and the suggestions they told me, and you know what? I got married in 2015 at the beginning of my recovery, you know. And well, like I say, I used to. I remember going to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna finish my 2 years of treatment, and then I'm gonna do my 5 years of the persecution, and I'm gonna go back out. That was my plan. But thank God that actually, even though my worst plans, they never came true. Because if I would have did that, I would have done the plan. I don't know what would have happened to me. God has another plans for me. And it is very miraculous how God works. I remember June 2020 because that was when my actual recovery starts. I spent almost 5 years in the program doing nothing. You know, I didn't have a home group. I was from group to group. I went to, I was doing a lot of meetings and reading the books and that and that and talking to people, but I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't have service. I didn't have nothing. What I'm telling you this and what I tell you that my actual recovery starts back in 2020 because that was the day that I called my sponsor because that was the day that I really touched bottom. Physically sober, guys. I remember this day. I was I have an argument with my wife, with my ex-wife, and then my father-in-law came and told me something, and he told me, "Hey, you know what? Let's move this car because it's in the way." And so I got mad. Actually, I got mad. I have anger problems. So I remember having my car, and I took it out of the driveway. Uh, Actually, I was blind, so I took my car. So I was planning on doing a U-turn, and I didn't look on the side. So actually, somebody T-boned me, And I remember that day, and exactly that day, my ex-wife, came and told me, you know what, I am not gonna be with you no more, man, because you don't change. I remember that day she was being serious. She was done. She was done with me. I don't think she wanted to put up with my shit anymore. And that day, you know what? Actually, I didn't even think to beg her, to stay with me. You know what I did instead? I grabbed my phone and I called Carlos, and I told him, Carlos, you know what, I cannot do this anymore by myself. I'm done. Because I knew I wasn't fixing the problem. I was sober. I was abstinent, but I wasn't sober. So I remember Carlos telling me, you know what, it's gonna be an honor for me to help you. So since then, we've been meeting every Tuesday. I've been working the steps. We are working the traditions right now. He was the guy who actually pushed me to do service. And he didn't push me. Actually, he taught me how to do service the right way. You know, and I remember back in the days. Back in the days, they told me that this program is a program of attraction. And actually, I like what my sponsor has. Because he actually is in service. I met him a long time ago, and I remember telling my ex-wife, actually, curiously, I told, you know what, I met a guy, and I know for some reason I wanted to tell him to help me, but I don't know. And I meant to tell him like a long, long time ago, and probably it's like I say, God works in the miracles way because probably He wanted to hit bottom, and I lost everything. But thanks to that, man, I am in the way that I am right now. I have a I don't have a wife and I don't have kids, but I don't feel lonely. I have a set up a group of friends right there, man, that helping me all the time. And every time, man, that I walk into a room of Alcoholics Anonymous, I know that for the rest of the day I am not gonna drink. I know that tonight I'm gonna go sleep sober, and tomorrow I know I'm gonna wake up sober, and I'm gonna start that again, because I cannot tell you if I'm gonna I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I'm gonna close up with this. One time I was in a meeting over there, in Auburn, because I used to live in Puyallup. That was a place that we bought a house, and I remember staying right there because actually traffic was bad. And that day was coins anniversary or something, and I received my fourth coin that day. And one guy came out, got out all grumpy, and told him, and I actually followed him. And I told him, is everything okay? He said, yeah. I said, you know what, Derek? I said, I don't give a damn how many years do you guys have. I said, okay. And then I asked him why. And then he answered. He told me because every night when I go to sleep, I die. And I was thinking, okay, you die, yeah, yeah, I die. And he asked me this question: do you can guarantee me that tomorrow I'm gonna wake up? I say no, I cannot give you that guarantee. So God does that for me. And today is the day that I have, and I live the day like today was the last one of my life. And that doesn't mean I'm gonna go back and drink. That means that I'm gonna be in service, like my sponsor says, and I'm doing it with all my heart because this is the program that actually saves my life. Otherwise, probably I would be dead like my dad. My dad actually died from cirrhosis, and I couldn't help him. But I know if I keep practicing this thing, I can help others. And that is my main purpose in life. For that, thank you so much for letting me share. That was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Eric. So there's no dues or fees for AA membership. We're self-supporting. Meeting expenses are covered by our voluntary contributions. So we're going to pass the basket before the in-between time. So you won't interrupt the speaker. So, and then Austri is going to introduce our main speaker tonight.